Mercedes fans see a sliver of hope after a decent performance from the team following the race in Jeddah. The team managed to secure a 4th and 5th position after Fernando Alonso achieved his 100th podium, finishing 3rd. Hamilton managed to end in 5th, right behind George Russel in 4th. The team overall seemed faster than others on track, except Red Bull and Alonso, of course. And though they may not be in contention for the title right now, they certainly can improve to give everyone on track a tough time. Let's talk about Mercedes' pace in detail and how we may expect them to improve in later races. Although they had a more challenging time in the practice sessions and qualifying, Mercedes finally made their mark on the racetrack again. The two cars put out very solid lap times and managed to hold off the likes of Ferrari and Alpine behind. Although Alonso was faster than both the Mercedes and his Aston, his teammates suffered a DNF and had to stop on the track, causing a safety car to be deployed. As a result, Mercedes scored more points than Aston Martin and are now on par with Aston Martin in the Constructors' Championship at 38 points each. Overall, the team sometimes looked faster than Aston Martin, especially Lance Stroll, who was in 7th before his incident, and sometimes looked much slower than the green machine under Alonso's hand. What was more surprising, however, was that Mercedes was faster than Ferrari. Although the prancing horse had a better pace in qualifying, they fell behind Mercedes during the race itself. It is early to say whether the Ferraris had a problem that resulted in them being slow, or if Mercedes had hidden pace they were saving for the right moment. But the results show the Silver Arrows putting out more consistent lap times and having more grips in the corners. It was also surprising to see Leclerc behind Sainz. Overall, Sainz had a faster best lap than Leclerc and managed to keep him behind throughout the race. In summary, Mercedes was the 3rd fastest car on track, which is better than their position in Bahrain, and leagues above what they managed to do in 2022 at the start. Lewis Hamilton spoke out about his thoughts in a post-race interview while also poking fun at his teammate George Russell. "We got some great points as a team. George got 3rd, which is amazing. I went forwards, which is always the hope, that you can at least go forwards, one foot in front of the other. So I'm really grateful to have come from 7th to 5th. The strategy just didn't really work out for me. Setup was a bit off. I think if I had the setup that George had, I would have been in a bit of a better position. Lots to work on, but there are positives to take away from it." On the setup, it was like a 50-50 choice. I chose one way, George chose another. More often than not, the way he went was the wrong one, but it just happened to work. So I could only match his pace rather than be quicker this weekend. I'll work hard to make sure we're in a better place next time. The team also had much better tire degradation than Bahrain, as predicted by experts beforehand. The Jeddah circuit is the fastest street circuit in the calendar and has generally quicker corners, which put less stress on the tires. Mercedes proved this today after Hamilton's brilliant drive on his medium tires, making them run for more than 30 laps, even though the mediums only lasted for an average of 15 laps last year. Tire degradation was a significant problem for Mercedes in Bahrain, and the team lost grip on relatively new tires very quickly as compared to other teams on the track. This was partly due to the extra amount of downforce the car was producing in Bahrain, which resulted in more stress on the rear tires. The team also faced the same issues earlier in the practice sessions, but they were able to rectify it by the actual race. Both drivers used the one-stop strategy, and the tires held up pretty well throughout the race, even though the team had to constantly push the car in order to avoid getting caught by the Mercedes. Before I continue with the drivers' expectations before the race and whether they were exceeded, please consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel, as it helps us put out videos like this every day of the week. Earlier, after qualifying, Hamilton stated in an interview how he does not feel good behind the wheel of the car and what can be done to improve the vehicle. "I feel like I struggled with the car in the high-speed sections particularly. But I just don't feel the car underneath me. I just don't feel connected to this car, and I can't get it, so I don't really know what I'm going to do about that," Hamilton told Sky Sports F1. He continued, "It's miserable. It's tough. I'm giving it absolutely everything. I'm here as late as I can be every day. I'm preparing the best you can, and I just get in the car and can't connect with it." Russell also talked about his expectations from the race and how he feels that Aston Martin is their real competition, not Red Bull. They are going to be coming through quite quickly. You want to have a good tussle on track with competitors in a similar ballpark to you, but obviously Red Bull are in a really fantastic place right now. Their car is exceptional, and Max is just going to slice through the field, he commented. We will do our best to keep them behind, but when they've got a second-to-lap pace advantage, so they can kind of do what they like with the strategy, they'll come back through comfortably. When asked about a possible podium for the team, he added, "I think we need to just see. Max is the biggest question mark. Charles as well. How is he going to come through the field? But definitely, why not? Why shouldn't we be aiming for a podium and put in the fight to Fernando? The two Aston Martins are where our biggest fight is tomorrow." Well, they did manage to score a podium, even though they could not beat Alonso in straight-line speed. Both drivers' expectations from the race were met, and they seem optimistic about a more remarkable improvement in the coming weeks. It will be crucial to see what the team does in the future and the upgrades they have aligned for future races. It is clear that the team is well behind Red Bull, and it seems difficult for any team at this point to match the pace they are putting out. Throughout the race, the team was 1 second faster per lap than all the other cars, and it was a one-sided show for the top step of the podium. Could this mean Mercedes is on the right path to improvement? The drivers and the rest of the team think so. Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff is pleased with the team's results and hopes for improvement in the coming races. He said, "I'm looking optimistic in the future because we just need to put in a different window. We're changing the bodywork of the car, how the floor works, all of these things mechanically. We're looking at certain areas, and the team in Brackley is just flat out, and that is really nice to see that we can monetize on the Sundays on that." The team is working on significant upgrades to the car's side pod and aerodynamic design and aims to improve their vehicle as they did in 2022. They are hoping for a major upgrade for the car to be launched in May during Imola, which may be the key to unlocking the true potential of the W14. Last year, the RB18 did not have a good start, and Max Verstappen had a 48-point difference to leader Charles Leclerc, but Red Bull managed to spin the season around and ended up winning the championship with many more races to spare. In the end, Mercedes also needs such an improvement for their car. It is not too late yet, and the coming race weekends are crucial for the team to show the work they have been putting in. Even if they cannot challenge Red Bull for the title, they still have second place to fight for. And currently, they look to be in good contention for that spot if they manage to deal with Fernando Alonso and his Mercedes-powered Aston Martin. Fans can only wait and see what visual changes the team brings each weekend. Jeddah only saw the team change 2 things with their car, and those 2 minimal changes. But still, we managed to see a visible difference in pace from the car in Bahrain to the car in Jeddah. It is true that Mercedes is determined to keep a good placement in the championship and convince Lewis Hamilton to stay with the team and end his contract. The 7-time world champion is desperately looking for his 8th championship, and even Toto Wolff agrees he would have to switch teams if Mercedes does not provide a title-winning car. What do you think? Was the Mercedes faster in Jeddah, or was the Ferrari extremely slow? What new changes will we see for the Australian Grand Prix in 2 weeks? Comment down below.